With the MT Parish Walk launch and bumping into Mr. Cregeen, I thought it was obviously a time to talk to you about the news that there's going to be another bus strike. So it seems that we've been talking about this all the time. Anything to say about this?
No, it was a surprise that we got notified the other day that they were going to have another strike. The union hasn't been in touch with us lately, and I think we've got a local union officer who has actually been overtaken by being run from the UK, which is really bizarre.
Okay, let's make this quite clear. You've had no communication, you as a department, with the union stroke the bus drivers then for some time. I mean, how long are you talking about?
I think the last communication was over a week ago. There is proposals that we've been working through the Manx Industrial Relations Office, and that's how all the proposals been put to the Unite. And this was a surprise that they just came along and said, right, we're going to have another strike.
Going back to the whole thing, I mean, we're going over old things all the time now, obviously, but binding arbitration, one more time, can you not just bring yourself, if you're so certain you're going to win this, can't you just make that gesture and take it to binding arbitration?
Well, it's not a case of that we're so clear about winning.
So you don't think you've got a good case then?
We have a very good case, but one of the things that we've got is that we need to make £300,000 worth of savings. If you go to binding arbitration, the chances are they look either £300,000 or less. Now, if we thought that we were going to go to binding arbitration, we could have started off with brand new contracts like they have in the UK, where they start off at £18,000 a year and go from there. But this was trying to reduce to the minimum amount of impact to the drivers. Now, arbitration will not come back and say, well, really, the department has been very fair on this, and we think they should have made £400,000 or £500,000 worth of savings. So you could say that from the Unite's point of view, saying to go to binding arbitration could only go one way for them. It won't cost them any more, but Tynwald sets our budget. And all members of Tynwald vote on the budget, and we have to live within that budget.
Are we going to have the same situation on this strike as last time, where you won't let the workers back in, even though their strike's only a couple of hours in the morning, then there's going to be a couple of hours in the afternoon? Last time, you locked them out all day long, didn't you?
One of the things that we've got to do is, we've got to realise that if the drivers are not available for work to carry out their duties, we cannot allow our buses to be left all the way around the Isle of Man, our passengers to be left around the Isle of Man.
So will you lock them out all day then?
We will be running a Sunday service on the day. And if any driver wants to turn up for work, they will work their full duties, then there will be work for them.
So come 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning when they finish the first part of the strike, those guys that go forward to go to work, you won't be taking them in just like last time. Is that what I'm trying to get to?
If they're not available to work when we need them, then there's no use. What is the use if we would have buses that could be stuck all over the Isle of Man? How would we get the drivers out to get the buses again?
Do they get paid then anyway? Because they've said they're going back to work. Do they get paid for sitting at home at that stage because you're not letting them there?
No.
You don't pay them?
No.
Looking at what Mr. Moulton's proposing is losing the paid lunch break is what they are proposing. Is that still the case? And how much will that cost compared with your offer that you put to them?
Right, if they go back and they just lose their paid lunch hour and all the efficiency savings that we'd brought in. So their old contract, if we just took the lunches out, would cost them on average about £3,000 a man.
And that's what they're proposing, is it?
The enforced contract, which makes an allowance for drivers to drive from, instead of 3 hours 45 to 4.5 hours, the impact on the drivers would be round about £1,500. So what the union are proposing is actually going to cost their own members more money than the enforced contract.
That surely can't be right. I mean, let me say one more time, so we're all clear. You're proposing a cut of £1,500, but the union, if they have their way on this proposal, it will cost the bus drivers £3,000. Is that actually what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Finally, making the headlines the last week about the cleaners of the buses now. They've been kind of dragged in on this sort of massive figure that the press was putting up. Anything to say about that? Is that true for starters?
It was, but we've been in negotiations with them, and there will be changes to the contracts coming in about 2 to 3 weeks, and we will make a significant saving on the money that we're paying.
Because I mean, up to I think the figure was £52,000. Some bus cleaners were getting. Yes. You can confirm that was what they were getting with the overtime, I suppose. Yes.
Yes, and they were working long hours for that. But you know, at the times we had more buses than we do now. We've made some savings, but we have to make more savings, and we've negotiated through, so the changes will be coming through. We've let some of the contracts out, so they've gone out to tender, so some of the cleaning and deep cleaning will be done by private contractors.